So in this video, we are going to talk about Netflix. In a few hours, Netflix stocks lost about 25% of its price. So how is it possible? And of course, maybe you will be surprised, but most certainly not. We are not going to talk about finance. We are going to talk about statistics and causality. And here it's very important to see how such an event that you see in all the headlines could be useful to question it with the lens of statistics and my first aid kit. Because what happens when you see something like this in the news? The first question that comes to my mind, and I'm pretty sure to yours as well, is why? What was the cause? Why a sudden drop like this? So let's see together if we can really answer this question and what are the two things actually we can learn from this very simple example. And you have control measure what the effect of this So the direct cause is actually quite simple to know and to answer what caused that. It was a report by Netflix showing that they lost 200,000 subscribers. And of course, it was not a sudden loss, but suddenly it became known by the public, by the investors, by the finance sector. So as we observe a sudden shock, we can expect that there is a sudden cause, something that creates this shock on a few hours, losing 25% of the value of the stock. And here, it's really, you have a clear shock that explains this. So this is actually the first thing we can learn here. It's often very hard to know causal effects. We need a lot of statistics, tons of study. That's what we are discussing always on this channel. But here, one thing we can use in when there is a sudden cause and consequence. So it's easy because you can really relate them on time-wise quite easily. So here you have this announcement, and in a few hours after that, you have a clear explanation why, and you see this drop. It's the same. Let's say you're lactose intolerant, you eat something, you feel really bad, and then you ask, okay, what was in this food? Oh, there was this thing that you cannot digest properly. Okay, the cause and effect is very clear. The effect, the timing of the effect is very clear. And hence, even if you don't have a randomized control trial, you can claim causality and that this caused that. It's always very key in our lives. I mean, every decision we make, we have to know if it's causal or not. It really helps us to make career choice, personal choice, when to do that, what to buy. So it's really a question that we have every day. And we need to be able to answer that. That's why those tools are so useful. So this leads actually to the real question. Why? Why did they lost 200,000 subscribers? And this is not a sudden loss, right? It's over a quarter, something like this. I'm not sure, but it's over some months. And here, that's where people start arguing and fighting about. And you see articles, different people claiming different things that suits usually their agenda and their a priori. As the most important bias in statistics is what we call confirmation bias. You think about something, you see something going in the same direction, so you're like, okay, I knew it. This is the result, and you don't question it further. So the first argument that I've seen is about the content. Some people, potentially many, argue that it's caused by what they call wokeness. And this affects the content, they don't like it, people leave. Others are saying that it's because there is increasing competitions. You have Disney, Amazon, and different kind of service similar to Netflix, as there was none 10 years before, not to that extent. And finally, some argued as well that Netflix is exploring a version with commercials, and hence you're paying, but you're still exposed to commercials, so people maybe are leaving or going back to Pirate Bay. I don't know. So what else can we learn here? Well, everything is multifactorial. Often, when you try to predict something in statistics, you have a model that will disentangle many things. And this means that you have, at the beginning, many things affecting your results. Here it's the same thing. Potentially, all those stories are true at the same time. Maybe it's partly explained by the competition, maybe due to the contents, maybe it's due to potential commercial on the platform. So we don't know, actually. We really don't know the answer. We will need to explore this more deeply, more in depth. But again, the key idea that I keep sharing is that to perfectly answer this, we would need two parallel worlds, right? With exactly the same situation from the Big Bang to now, nowadays, 2022, after COVID, after all that. And basically looking at, in one of the two worlds, you have Netflix, but you don't have the competition. And in the other, you have the competition. And everything is the same. And you have just one thing changing. And due to the fact that there is just one thing changing, if there is a difference, it's most certainly caused by that. But we don't have parallel worlds. So we have to try to replicate and assess that. So this situation is very important to illustrate the following. What can you do if you face this situation? Let's say you have your firm or you work in a firm and you face this situation. You have some potential causes, but you're not sure what. What can you do actually? You don't have parallel worlds. Well, ex post, you can hopefully have surveys about people leaving, answering questions to know why they left. That will be a very good indication, but knowing that this might be biased again because surveys are rarely perfect in this situation. It's not in a lab. And then you can try to address different parts, those three, if you think that they are valid hypotheses or not. You can try to explore more and try to answer those questions. But that's why causality is so important. Because if you don't do it properly, you might invest a lot of money, time, resources, and answer the wrong question or address the wrong problem because due to biased estimates, to basing your results on no statistics at all, you should take the wrong decision. And then again, you invest time, effort on something that will not solve the problem, maybe make it worse. So that's why even for managers, for everyone, it's absolutely key to understand those concepts. And just to better navigate the world, here you see these headlines, and now you can question it, try to think about all that and try to extrapolate and use those for other situations. So really looking forward discussing with you this in the comments. If you have questions, other suggestions, other causes, just write below. Thanks for watching. See you around.